Hello, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here, and this is a little review video of something I expect you to already have mastered. If you're watching the video, it's either because you feel a little insecure and you want to look it over, and I commend you for that. Knowing what your weaknesses are is a big part of being a good student. Or you didn't score so well on your formative and you've got some gaps in your learning. So this is your chance to close them. We're going to take a day or so and make sure you understand your different forms. So make sure you're taking notes on this video. You're doing the problems with me, even pausing the video several times, taking notes, trying things on your own, and then watching to see if you've got them right. If you're not getting them right, then consider strongly coming in to see me. The days of just pretending that you know it are long over. It will haunt you, and you'll get mediocre grades, which will make you feel bad about yourself, make you feel less confident about your ability in math. Okay, so I'm explaining how to be successful. Now the challenge is for you to ask yourself, are you willing to take those actions? So you should be taking notes, you should be pausing the video, you should be doing problems, and of course coming to see me and ask questions about what you don't understand. Okay, so slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is one of the easiest and most useful forms of a linear equation. You should know it by heart, okay? It's y equals mx plus b. Now, see if you can tell I've got little guide arrows here. See if you know what the m and the b stand for. Of course, x is your independent variable and y is your dependent variable. But if you didn't know, then get it down. B is the y-intercept, the place where the line will cross the y-axis. And m is the slope, or if you prefer, rise over run. Okay? Now, to be in slope-intercept form, two things must happen. Dun, 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 dun. Do you know what they are? See if you can answer before I reveal them. Go ahead, see if you know. Have you tried? What's that? Okay, go ahead. Number one, the equation must be linear. How can you tell if it's linear? Well, it all depends on the exponents. There's two variables in the equation, y and x. Are their exponents 1? If their exponents are both 1, the equation is linear. If either of the exponents is not 1, if it's a 0, a negative number, then the equation might not be linear. It depends on the situation. Probably not. Okay? Number two, y must be isolated. This is something kids forget all the time. They just see an equation, they grab a number and go, that's the slope. They never bother to isolate y. If y is not isolated, you can isolate it. How? Using your algebraic skills. In other words, solve for y. Okay, so I want you to play a little game here. I want you to determine which of the following equations are in slope-intercept form, and I will show them all to you. Do this in your notebook. Write down the equation. I want you to write down slope-intercept form or not slope-intercept form, and pause the video, and then when you're ready, I'll go through all 6. Okay, go ahead and pause the video. All right, here come the solutions. If you haven't tried them yet, you're wasting both our times. Please pause the video and try them. It's okay if you get them wrong now, because you can learn from it. Okay? All right, so A, definitely slope-intercept form. The equation's linear. The exponent on y is 1. The exponent on x is 1. And y is isolated. Okay? B, it is not in slope-intercept form. Sure looks like it, but the exponent of x is a 2. This is not a linear equation. It's true that y is isolated, but it's not a linear equation. Therefore, it cannot be in slope-intercept form. This is actually quadratic, which some of you should start to be putting together now. We've been using that term quadratic, and it actually makes the thing called the parabola. All right, a U-shape, in other words. C, it is linear, but it's not slope-intercept form. Why not? Because the y is not isolated. One little step, and we can isolate the y. And let me see here. I don't want a highlighter. I want a marker, a pen. All right, so to isolate the y, I would divide by 2, because that's multiplication. Divide by 2 and divide by 2, and so the equation would become y equals 5/2 x minus 5. All right, remember, I don't want to divide that out. I like my rise and my run. All right. D. The equation is linear. If you know your forms, you'll know what form D is in. It's definitely not slope-intercept form. It is linear. These are both 1s on the exponents. However, y is nowhere close to being isolated. To isolate it, go ahead, see if you can isolate it on your own. Unpause, pause the video, unpause it when you want to see the solution. All right, here I go. I'm going to show it. Make sure you've tried it. It's going to be y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. That's what the equation would be in slope-intercept form. E, it's definitely linear, and y is isolated. Slope-intercept form. F, this is a tricky one, okay? Because you can't see the x. How many x's are in the equation? Don't say none. Always say 0. Now ask yourself, is this linear? It sure is. Is it in slope-intercept form? You bet. What's the y-intercept? 7. What's the slope? 0, or 0 over 1. Okay, this is a horizontal line. Remember, we talked a lot about that before the break. Horizontal line. So this is in slope-intercept form. All right, very good. Let's keep the video rolling here. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Now we're going graphing. Sorry if my tone-deaf singing is hurting your ears. To graph, remember that the equation needs to be linear and the y must be isolated. Here is how we do it. So we have this equation, y equals 3x minus 5. I just kind of do a mental check. Is the equation linear? The exponents are both 1, so yes, it is a linear equation. When I graph it, it will make a line. Then I ask myself, is y alone or is y isolated? Yes, it is. So it is in slope-intercept form. And there I identified the y-intercept, b, what I begin with, and the slope, 3. I'm ready to start graphing. And look at that, I have some graph paper ready to go. So the y-intercept was negative 5. So I'm going to put a point at negative 5, 0, negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, negative 5. All right. And then my slope, I believe, was 3 as a fraction. That would be 3 over 1. So I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, and run 1. Rise 1, 2, 3, and run 1. Rise 1, 2, 3, and run 1. All right, so now I draw my line. Dun, dun, dun. And remember, my line needs to go forever. I'm going to take up the graph. I'm showing 4 points, but there are an infinite number of points on the line. All those points are solutions to the linear equation. What was the linear equation again? Well, let's see. It was y equals 3x minus 5. Pick any point on there, and it will make the equation true. Let's see. Let's pick this point right here. Let's see what its coordinates are. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the point 3, 4 will make this equation true. So I'm going to plug 4 in for y, 3 times, plug 3 in for x, minus 5. I'm going to follow the order of operations, and 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 5, is that a true statement? Sure enough, 4 equals 4. Any point on the line, if you know the x and y coordinates, that will work. All right, keep going here. I've got, let me see, one example for you to try. All right, so I want you to graph this one using the slope-intercept technique. Make sure you pause the video, try it on your own. Please graph it on graph paper. Use a straight edge to draw your line. And then I want you to unpause the video and see my solution. Okay, here comes my solution. If you haven't tried it yet, please do. First, I'm going to isolate y. I already checked to see if the equation was linear, and sure enough it was. So I'm going to subtract 2x from each side. I'm going to get 12 minus 2x. And now I'm going to divide by negative 3 on each side. And I have to distribute it on the right-hand side. And so I'm going to get y equals negative 4 plus 2/3 x. So I'm going to go to -4, on the y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then rise, 1, 2, run, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. If I want to go the other direction, I can always go down 2 and left, 1, 2, 3. All right, I've got my points, and now I can draw my line. Dun, da, da, da. There we go. All right, so get my arrowhead on there. There you go. That is slope-intercept form. All right, that's the end of the video. So hopefully you have a better understanding of slope-intercept form. If you'd like to come in for practice on that, please do so. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good day, everybody.